Good morning. My name is Alonzo. We are in week 7 for the group discussion for public health leadership and project management class, um, when as it relates to the reading material for this week, we are taking some time for some self reflection as it relates to the current project that my group and I are in, and or to a project in which that I've been involved with or have led. Some of the questions that have been mentioned are what social identities, race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, ability, social class, age, do I identify with, and how significant is each identity in relation to this project and to my work? I think that in relation to this, I am a 33-year-old Filipino man that was raised Catholic, and honestly, was brought up by two parents that immigrated to the United States separately. Um, for a period of time, as my parents were making that transition to the United States and obtaining their citizenship through the assistance of the 4-H program, as well as the assistance of my dad's farm that he still currently works at. I think he's been there for over 30 plus years now as their farm mechanic. We have had to, as a family, we've had to work together to try to figure out basically how things work. We were very low income, but we were also very prideful, with which we didn't really want to ask for help, because in a way, we had that pride to be able to continue to prove ourselves, and that's still, in a way, it kind of bleeds into my work, as well as any project that I am working with, because being in my family's shoes, as well as being in the shoes of the families that I serve at both the organizations that I'm working for and supporting, I'm able to see where they're coming from, really invest myself into asking questions, into learning more about their story, and how they have been able to how they've been able to navigate the difficulties that they may be facing, whether that's the similar pathways that I've had to navigate, or as it relates to supports that they may be looking for, whether that's for different therapies, whether that's for navigating developmental disability services, or if they're navigating through a new autism diagnosis. It's just being able to relate to these families based off of my family's experience has been very key into the work that I'm doing with the families that I serve, as well as within this project that I am working with for my group as well. What the second question is, what types of training and experiences do I have? How have these shaped who I am? And how might these training and experiences positively or negatively impact those who I am working with and who the project involves? In terms of the training and experiences that I do have, I will say that I have come from numerous backgrounds, ranging from all the way back when I was growing up, working with my dad as a farmhand at my dad's farm that he works at in high school, and then you can extend that out to my 5 years of military service in the United States Navy, as that shaped my understanding of not only introduction into the field of healthcare and public health as a whole, but also as a way of discipline, and why reasons happen, why there are reasons for things that happen, with which at the time, as a 17-year-old going into the Navy, that I didn't understand. It wasn't until when I fully got out into the fleet that the fleet being able to fully serve after boot camp is that there are things that happen a reason that may affect lives. As me in my job, that was my introduction into healthcare, was working with active duty veterans and their families, as well as veterans that have retired. And so and then as I continued to move forward, I gained additional experience and knowledge from my background of being getting my community health education degree over at the OHSU and /PSU School of Public Health, and kind of getting that introduction into public health, and as it relates to the populations that we are serving and looking to serve. And then into the multiple roles that I have served here at Providence Health and Services. And so, ranging from my experiences working with medically fragile children over at the Providence Child Center, also working with families that are being seen for different therapies over at the Providence Children's Development Institute for occupational therapy, speech and physical therapy. And then, as it relates currently with my work with the Swindells Resource Center, as well as with Help Me Grow Oregon, supporting all families of all different ages, from ages 0 to 21, notably with families that have children with developmental disabilities, and navigating the different systems that go along with it. And so I think that with this combined experience and training that I have as a result of this culmination, I think that not only that has shaped my career and how I view the world, but also I attribute that to my family values growing up, and being able to do the right thing, and just to be able to have a passion for being curious, for asking questions, and just being passionate about helping others, as I am passionate for my family, as well as the families that I serve. And so, in terms of positively or negatively impacting those who I'm working with and who the project involves, I think that, again, that kind of depends on the different working styles that I am surrounded with. So a person's working style can be completely different than mine. I attribute a lot of my experiences from the United States Navy, in terms of discipline and in terms of having a strict timeline for different things, so that there is more wiggle room to be able to go back to refine different aspects of the project, so that we can be able to put out a finished product that is of quality, and that is deserving for the populations that we are serving. And so I think it just really depends. What beliefs and values do I have, and how do they impact my identity on my work on the project? I think I already addressed some of this, where I am of the belief of doing the right thing, and also being able to have accountability for the things that I am actively taking part in for the project. And if I do need help, or if I do have questions, then I will not hesitate to reach out to my teammates, or to my core leadership, or even as it relates to this program, really reach out to my professors, and that have navigated this. That have navigated the field, and have had to have these conversations within their own interdisciplinary groups, and other projects that they have worked on. And so I think that especially with the discipline piece, I feel like that sometimes that it can be a little rigid, but I've also evolved personally to understand that we may not be in not only in the same time zone, but we also have different situations, in terms of family, in terms of different responsibilities that we are working with, such as, like obviously like balancing my caseload, balancing my program here, and also balancing an internship that I'm also working on. And so it's also being able to understand and know what's going on within the group. And so that's why I always and still am encourage communication at any cost. Yeah. And so the next question is, in what ways do my identities represent privilege or marginalization? And how might this compare to those that I am working with and who the project involves? That's a great question. It's hard to answer, I'll be honest with you. I think that what I can say is growing up low income, children of immigrants that have had difficulty asking questions for assistance or help, and also knowing who to trust around us. I think that I feel that, at least initially in my career, I will say that I felt marginalized just because this type of how do I say this? It's more like this type. It was like a type of I don't want to say attitude, but more it was normalized within my family that it was. I mean, it was just hard to ask questions and ask for help, just because I look at it from a pride standpoint, and personally, I've had to fight that. And also that also includes my experience in the United States Navy, just because while the discipline aspect was very important in being able to know the reasons why we are doing things the way that they're doing, because it impacts other people's lives, but at the same time, the why wasn't really as mentioned as much. And as much as I wanted to ask the why, I felt that in my position, I was not in the position to ask why. And so, due to potential retaliation, in terms, not in terms of like punishment or whatever it may be, but it more of like it was more of a one way. It was a one way conversation most of the time. And so I think that in my past career that it may have affected me, but as I have been working within Providence over the last, I'm going to say, since 2019, so about 7 years now. So let me see, 2019, 21, 2, 3, 4, yeah, close to 7, I think. But then also within this program and my previous 4-year degree over at OHSU PSU, it's being able to understand people at where they are, and understanding their pathway, and understanding their view of thinking, while also sharing your view of thinking, and then finding a middle ground to be able to collaborate, contribute, and then ultimately put out the best supports and services and product as it relates to the populations we serve. And so that concludes the group discussion, at least for my part, on for week 7, and I am looking forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you so much.